Episode 14.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the top? Well, if so, buckle up and hold on. It's time once again for So You Want to Sell on eBay with your hosts, Ron LeBeau and Ali Young.
Creating an eBay store these days is not that difficult a task. Creating a custom eBay store is. So if you're thinking of starting an eBay business, or even if you're a titanium power seller, let the professional team at AuctionProTemplates.com create a custom eBay store for you.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
We have an awesome show for you today. We'd like to welcome our guest, Yetta. How you doing, Yetta?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good, thank you.
It's really great to have you with us. Are you ready to have some fun, Yetta?
Well, as fun as we can have here.
Okay, excellent.
We'll do our part. Yetta Wieland has been selling on eBay since 2003 and has been an eBay user since 1997. She has about 20,000 transactions, is a top-rated power seller, and an eBay education specialist, which is soon to be called eBay University. Yetta specializes in vintage housewares, clothing, dinnerware, and glass, and recently began selling toys, vintage and new. Yetta, it looks like you know how to stay busy. Help us get to know you just a little bit better and tell us a little bit more about you.
I was an at-home mom. I have 3 kids, a granddaughter. The eBay stuff sort of came naturally because I was always looking for something to do from the house.
Right, sounds like you like to keep busy. 3 kids, eBay stuff, all mingled into one thing.
I was a journalist before, and I couldn't really chase stories anymore with little guys at home. And
Right.
My husband at the time traveled a lot, so he was gone most of the time, and I was with the kids, so I couldn't really do that. Then he died in 2002. So I had a lot of stuff to get rid of.
Right. And that's how a lot of people actually start their eBay business. One thing here, one thing there, and all of a sudden they realize that eBay is a great marketplace to make a little extra money on things you're not using anymore, right?
Exactly. I like to think of it, though, more like if you have a collection of things, and that collection has taken a long time, sometimes even a lifetime, to put together. You can't sit on your driveway and sell that.
Right.
You know, it needs to go to another collector. And the worldwide marketplace that eBay offers is really the thing to do.
That's great. And do you have a room like everyone else where you keep this stuff, just one room full of stuff to sell?
Well, it's not exactly contained anymore.
The kids are at it.
No, my kids, they're all grown now, but if they couldn't find anything, they're always saying, Mom, what did you do, sell it on eBay?
And chances are you did.
No, I've got plenty of stuff to do without raiding their closets.
That's it. So what type of journalism did you do before eBay then?
Well, I did magazine articles, basically a feature writer. I also did science reporting and legal reporting. I have a master's degree in journalism.
Wow. And you prefer selling on eBay, or would you go back into the journalism thing again?
I loved being a journalist when I was a journalist, but I'm a little old now for chasing stories.
Well, what we like to do to start the show off is we always like to ask someone about an impact person. It's sort of a good way to get started. And normally it can be someone who sort of helped you along your journey, or someone who gave you guidance, or anything really. Anyone that you sort of found that sort of helped you along your eBay career or any other career that you had, really.
It started, I think, as a lot of people, you're looking for a special item and put that in the search engine and voila, it comes up in eBay. And you start to buy a few things on eBay, and you realize what a marketplace it is, and what a global marketplace as well, where there's a reason and a rhyme and a time for almost anything.
And that's the great thing about eBay. You have such an open market for stuff like that.
One of the other things that people don't necessarily think about when they think about eBay is that the market being global and being so, it's even part of the vernacular now that we use, that, you can eBay it. I got it on eBay. All of those things. That,
right.
It is part of the vernacular, and it is a go-to marketplace, and especially for unusual, hard-to-find items. That's the thing that you want. eBay has really filled a niche there. I hope they never change that part of eBay, no matter what else they do.
Right, and they might. Hopefully they don't, but we're seeing changes within eBay all the time, and most of them are actually good changes, so hopefully they'll keep the good. In your business, your eBay business, going along here, everybody that starts any kind of a business has ups and downs, right, and failures and successes. There's people listening right now that are trying to figure out how to get through a particular trouble spot or a failure that they're having. And we always like to ask, our guests to tell about a particular failure that they've experienced through their eBay business, because there's someone out there for sure that is going to be able to relate to your story. So if you would, tell us in a little bit of detail about a particular failure that you had along the way, and what did you do to overcome that?
Well, I've had many failures over the time I've been on eBay. It's always a learning process, and you always have to look at it like that. Like I said, I have a master's degree, so I've paid dearly for other education.
Right,
and some of the lessons you learn on eBay are relatively inexpensive when in that perspective. It just happens. There are some weeks that are worse than others, and it is hard sometimes to go, all right, I'm going to go sit in front of the computer again, and I'm going to do some more eBay, because you just feel like you've been beat up by the by the whole everybody. But, you do it. I have to make, on days like that, and there are few, they're not every day for sure, you just make a conscious effort to, you've got to sit there and do it again. And
you just got to get back up and carry on fighting.
That's right. Get on the horse again.
And that's actually a common theme for most people we interview, and that's what I like about this particular failure part, is that most people, even though it's a serious failure, they just keep at it. They just keep fighting on it. They move through it. They learn from it. They keep moving forward with it.
It's all you can do. It's either that or find a bridge to live under.
Or jump off.
Either, yes.
Either one, yeah. Okay, having talked about failures and stuff, and we've learned a lot from that, what about successes? I'm sure you've had, obviously, lots of successes. Is there any one or two in particular that sort of remind you of that everything's sort of going well here?
Well, I started off doing... Well, not right off the bat, but I did do consignment for many years. So it always was interesting what people would bring me to sell, their collections. It was great to wander, if you will, into different worlds that I knew nothing about. A few of them were He-Man, which I didn't know anything about. He-Man of the 80s, who knew?
Flash Gordon.
That's a huge collectible market. Car brochures were another thing that I had no clue about. My late husband collected car brochures, the brochures that you got in the dealerships. And they went all the way back from when he was a kid in the 50s, going to the dealerships. So they went way far back. And so I had this box of old car brochures that had been in a couple of floods, that were in boxes in the basement for years and, decades, really. And so as I was moving out of the house, I thought, I'm going to try these on eBay. And the ones that didn't stick together or were total mush, off of that box of car brochures, I made over $2,000.
Nice.
That's incredible.
So who knew? And I was very clear in the things. And these kind of are a little musty smelling, I would say.
Well, that makes them old, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, and it was crazy. It was crazy where they went all over the world, and, people wanted them overnighted. They were thrilled to get these things. It was just a moldy old box in my basement.
Now, do you remember, Yetta, when you put those on eBay, and I'm just asking for, the listeners out there, do you remember, did you do that on a bid or a buy it now? On an auction or buy it now?
I started with, now this was a long time ago, the auction formats were a little different then, but I start most everything off on an auction if I think that there's any interest in it. If it's a commodity type item, then it goes on buy it now. People are not going to wait for an auction on those kinds of things. On the car brochures, after they were up once or twice, I knew the ones that were going to garner interest. Then I grouped them and got rid of them that way.
All right, put them in a group.
But that was what you have to do. Sometimes you have to just redirect your focus, and realize that what your main plan is to clear the swamp.
Yeah, empty that box, yes. How did you work out what to put them on for price-wise? You say you did some, auctions and stuff. Is that how you figured out what they're worth, or did you do a bit of research?
I did a bit of research. Some of the things were so obscure because my late husband was kind of an auto nut. And
nut.
Yeah, we stopped for anything old most of the time.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
Some of the stuff was really weird, like the Nash Metropolitan brochure. He also had a whole bunch of Corvette, early Corvette, the first few years, and those went crazy. But the Nash, nobody's even seen one of those for decades.
Much less a brochure, right?
Yeah, exactly. So even though they're cool and I liked them, I wasn't going to keep them. So you do the research and then you figure out a price point that you can live with. Because you also have to take into consideration, and a lot of new people that start out do not realize that they have to take into consideration the money that they're making, what their time is worth.
So is it a rule of thumb with you that anything that you buy, you sell, you don't keep?
Oh, no. That is, we don't keep anything. What we've realized, my new husband now, not so new, but anyway, he and I realized that we are not selling to ourselves. That is our number one rule. When we go to source things to buy, we are not buying for ourselves. The other day we bought a case of baby formula. Obviously
not for yourself.
Not for myself.
You did say he was a new husband. I mean, I don't know.
Not that new. Robbing the cradle. Boy, is that what you think of me?
No.
But it's good. You know, I've heard it before that someone once told me, if you buy something to sell on eBay, you always sell it. You don't keep it for yourself. Otherwise, you end up with a lot of stuff around the house that really you probably don't need, and then you end up putting it on eBay anyway.
Well, the problem is that you end up overwhelmed, as most people get. It's a fine balance between getting enough inventory and being overwhelmed with just the amount of mountains of stuff.
You have to be able to box it and ship it and, get all the orders. And if you get 10 or 15 orders in a day and it's just you, it can get overwhelming pretty quickly.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's true. No, I have employees, and we work out of my house, and the whole basement, which I believe is about 1,400 square feet.
Wow.
And that's pretty much the warehouse. I have a storage room or furnace room, whatever, and that is our photo studio. So we use that. And then we have extra inventory as well in the garage. So I have plenty of stuff. When people tell me I don't know what to sell on eBay, I'm like, have you been in your dining room lately?
Yeah.
I can't walk through that place without finding something that I don't need.
So when you take these pictures, I mentioned you have a studio there, you said. When you take these pictures, do you sort of create a template for it, or do you list them yourself?
I list them myself.
Yeah.
I do.
And you have a format or something?
I kind of use a journalistic format in a way. 3 sentences and I'm out. Nobody wants to read. They want to see pictures.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I'm speaking for myself. When I go to eBay, it's about the pictures.
Nobody reads anything. It doesn't really matter what you put in there. They're not going to read it. They want to see pictures. And one of the best advice I got for taking pictures is, imagine if you're at a store and you pick up an item, and the way that you want to look at it, how you want to turn it and bring it to the light, or look at the mark, or turn it around in your hand. Those are the pictures that should be on a listing.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
That's really pretty much what sells it, isn't it? I mean, if you don't have good quality pictures, how's anyone going to know what they're actually buying?
True, although I did have one buyer in London, which was actually kind of funny, because an international buyer, so it was shipped all the way to London. The response I got was, "You enticed me with your beautiful pictures."
Ah, you got them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then they had to send it back because, it was not the quality, but it was what was in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't please everyone, can you, Yetta?
No, you certainly can't, as we all know.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your current eBay business. I mean, I know you said that you have some employees. Let's talk a little bit about how you're structured, if you don't mind, and tell us a little bit about your employees and what roles you have them doing, and just how you set it up, because I know our listeners are out there. Some of them are trying to figure out how to box 10 things, and do you box them before you sell them, or how do you roll?
We do have operations, I guess, in a fashion, if you could say that. As the things come in, they get cleaned first. However that is. And everything gets cleaned. I don't sell anything dirty. Clothing gets cleaned. Glass gets put through the dishwasher. Everything that can be cleaned in some fashion is cleaned. And once it's cleaned, it's put on carts. They have 3 shelves and wheels. Little carts like you would see in a restaurant, perhaps.
Okay.
like a bus cart. And on that cart, then I separate them between light background and dark background, what would be optimum for the pictures. After that, they line up sort of like a train into the studio. My one employee right now, she's part-time, and she does fabulous pictures. So she's doing the pictures for me. In days past, it just kind of, when I need help, whatever that person can do. Whether it's photography is their strong suit, or listing is their strong suit, or cleaning. You know, the stuff needs cleaning. There's no question. I don't want to live amongst dirty, smelly stuff. So,
well, right. I imagine as a seller, you want to make sure that you're, providing good, clean, quality stuff to your buyers too, right?
Oh, exactly. And when you clean it, you can also tell if it's going to hold up. I buy a lot of stuff at auction. That's where I get my stuff, and farm auctions and estate auctions, and even going out of business auctions. I mean, I like auctions. I go in and swoop in at the end and buy what's left.
So swoop in. You're like a sniper. You come in right at the end there and get the last bid in, do you?
Well, I don't know. I've been called a bottom feeder before.
That's not nice. Sniper sounds better.
Yeah, perhaps.
Sniper sounds more skillful.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
And so I want to make sure that whatever I have is going to make it, and the buyer's going to be happy with it. And if I clean it, I can certainly understand then what the limitations of that item are. That's a whole discussion on many of the eBay Facebook groups, and whether or not to clean items. Well, I clean them. I can't imagine trying to sell something filthy.
You wouldn't really want to, would you? I mean, I couldn't think of anything worse getting a filthy item in the box. When you're at these auctions and you're snipering it, as we said, how do you know that what they're selling is the thing that's going to sell on eBay? Do you just have this, you know what, I think my customers will like this, or how do you know what to buy it at? Because it's happening so quickly, isn't it?
I mean, a lot of times it happens quickly. We try and get there before the auction to look at everything. If it's a business going out of business, I'm there with my scanner. I'm scanning all the UPCs, trying to figure out, how old the thing is, what it goes for, whether or not it has a high sales rank, and of course the ROI, the mighty ROI is what we go by, the return on investment.
It sounds like you've mastered it. I mean, you've got an awesome system here where you're cleaning it. I vision in my mind like a sushi bar where your products are on it and going around this conveyor belt into the next part of the house. I don't know, that's how I'm visioning it.
It's kind of, you've got it right, I think. You've got it right. Yep. And then after it's photographed and then it's listed, it gets warehoused on shelving units that are all over the place. I also have a shipping section. I have a little shipping department with all the boxes and peanuts and bubble and everything that I could use. And that's another thing that people ask a lot. Where do I get my shipping supplies? Well, I get them from a supplier. I can't.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to reuse stuff. There's nothing more disgusting to me to think of buyers putting down their good money, and they get a box in the mail, and they open it up, and it's full of somebody's recycled junk. And then somewhere in there is this item that you bought. It happened to me one time where I bought a lampshade for an antique lamp, a glass one, off of eBay. And it came, and it was a beautiful lampshade, but it came in an oatmeal container because it was round and they wanted
Nice. I love oatmeal.
But I was a little put off, I think, is probably the right word.
Yeah, not as impressive as if it were wrapped properly.
Right, exactly. So there is.
What's wrong with oatmeal?
There's nothing wrong with oatmeal, but not when you're buying a lamp.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, all right. Maybe that's not the scene for it, yeah.
So if you're out there listening, you know that if you buy from Yetta, and her eBay store is eAuction Maven, it's going to be clean and it's going to have fresh bubble wrap or fresh shipping supply wrapping. And so definitely consider that when you're out searching on eBay.
Yeah, and I don't sell anything that has a chip, a hole, some kind of damage, because then I end up describing the damage longer than it takes to do anything else, and nobody buys it with damage. I go to Goodwill probably 3 times a week with stuff.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually, because, as a seller, you want to make sure that you clearly identify the issue that you're having with this damaged piece of goods. And like you said, you end up writing maybe a paragraph or 2 paragraphs about that, and then the other features, they don't seem as awesome anymore, right? Because you just talked about this dent for 2 paragraphs.
Unless, of course, it's something that, you don't care about the dent, in some antique copper pot or something. The dent doesn't matter. I can say, a couple of minor dents or something. But if it's something that like you wouldn't sell a chipped dish or something. It's unsanitary, for one. Another thing, people don't want to buy it. They just don't want it. It doesn't matter how old or unusual it is. They don't want it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And so the moral of the story is don't be sending it in oatmeal boxes, or as I like to call it, porridge boxes, because I'm British. So let's move on a bit here. Let's actually start talking about what you did before, this. We heard a bit about journalism that you did before, and before you sort of got in eBay and became with the 3 kids. What did you do before that? Did you have many jobs before working your way to eBay?
Oh, yes, I had a lot. When I was going through college, which took me quite a while, I was a cab driver in Chicago.
No way!
Yeah, I was. Back in the 70s, in the way back machine. I drove a cab for 5 years. I was a hairdresser as well. I did hair on the weekends and at night or whatever to get enough money to go through school. And what else did I do? I was involved in some startups, magazines and businesses.
Yeah, in our pre-chat you mentioned you were a musician as well, right?
Yeah, that's like a hobby fun thing. Yeah, I'm a musician.
What instrument?
I play guitar, and I sing, and I do percussion.
Very cool.
Have you ever tried the didgeridoo?
I have one. Do you believe it?
You have one?
I do have a didgeridoo. I haven't quite figured out what to do with it. Well, it's not a really expensive one, but it's not a real cheap one either. It's kind of cool looking. And a friend of mine went to Africa and brought me back a drum, so I have an African drum.
Wow, you got a music shop as well in your house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
at the end of the day is if you can't work out how to play the didgeridoo, you can always just sell it on eBay.
I could. I'm thinking that I could do that.
Yeah. Of course, you have to clean it first, right? It's now time for the lightning round, but before we do, let's thank our sponsors.
If you are an online merchant, chances are you've heard of Terapeak. Terapeak helps online merchants like you by providing in-depth analytics to help you pull back the curtain on your competitors' behavior, pricing techniques and strategies, supply and demand, category and product trends, and customer purchase patterns. Sound intense? It is. Terapeak is the leader in e-commerce market analysis, dedicated to helping online merchants grow their business and become more profitable. How cool would it be if you could know the new and emerging opportunities? Terapeak delivers market intelligence that is both meaningful and actionable. Terapeak analyzes over 2.4 billion transactions per year. How many of those will be yours next year? After all, if your competitors see the value in Terapeak, shouldn't you? Go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/Terapeak to sign up today.
So what's one piece of advice, actually, that you could give someone just starting out on an eBay business?
I would say don't do the consignment route. That's what I would say. It was interesting going through everybody's stuff when I was doing consignment, but there's not any money in it, and it's a lot of work. And it was a wrong business plan, difficult one.
Probably a lot of headaches too, right?
Yeah, because the consigners are not so happy with their checks, and the buyers are not too thrilled because you don't know that much about the background of the thing. It goes on, and the consignment business itself, right now, eBay's involved in that, so I don't want to compete with them.
Sure.
Definitely not.
Okay, so if you had the chance to start your eBay business all over with all the knowledge that you have now about business and eBay business, what one thing would you do differently?
Well, aside from no consignment.
Yeah.
I would definitely not do that. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the way that things have evolved. It is a constant thing. eBay, as in life, the only constant is change. And you've got to just keep rolling with the eBay punches.
You must have seen a lot as well. I mean, you're I like to call you old school. You were back in the day when eBay was completely different, yeah? So you've kept with it. You've learned all the different changes, yeah?
Oh, you have to. You have to learn it, or you're plowed under.
Yeah, definitely plowed under, yeah. So when you started your eBay business, how much confidence did you actually have that you could really make money from it?
I didn't really have that much confidence that I could make money, but I knew for sure that the collections that I was going to sell, I mean, there were other things besides those brochures. The collections were certainly going to be interesting to somebody else. And that was my biggest thing, is to not have them end up in a landfill. I think a lot of people go at eBay that way, too. You don't want to see this stuff get thrown away. I mean, Grandpa collected it for 50 years. You don't want to just pitch it.
Right, right.
Exactly.
Then what is your take on free shipping? You know, a lot of people out there believe that, you know, if I offer free shipping, I'm going to get more traffic and more conversions. Some people say, you know what, I don't subscribe to free shipping at all. So what is your take on free shipping?
I do a lot of free shipping. The only time I don't do free shipping is if something is really big or really heavy and I can't really come up with a good standard postage on it.
Okay.
But I do free shipping. It's included, of course, in the purchase price. There is no free shipping. And it also helps with search position. And you always want to do everything you can to please the search gods.
Yes, definitely. We want to entertain that one. So, okay, let's say you're selling an item for this shipping. How do you work out what shipping to put? Okay, so I've heard many people's rule of thumb is, let's say the product's $5 and they know the shipping's $3, so they'll include free shipping and make it to be $8. But how do you know that's going to cover enough money to go all the way across the other end of the country?
Well, I'm in the Midwest, so that's a good thing.
You're located in a good place.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the middle of the country. So California and Maine are going to be, you know, about the same. You know, you can go on USPS.com and find out how much it's going to cost to go to California or Maine. After a little while, you're going to know how to price it, because you're going to know what the breakdowns are for the different services that the Postal Service offers and that FedEx and UPS offers, at least domestically. Now, internationally, that's a different thing.
Different ball game, yeah. Do you do free shipping on international?
No, I don't. But I have opted in to the global shipping program from eBay. Even though I've opted in, I've had maybe 10 items go through that Kentucky warehouse worldwide, you know, and go worldwide from there.
Right.
Well, that's great advice. So let's talk about feedback and what actions do you take to get like negative or neutral feedback removed? Do you go out of your way to sort out the problem, or do you not care so much these days? What's your take on feedback?
I recently just retained or reattained 100% feedback rating.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was gone for quite a while. I mean, I have almost 14,000 feedback right now. So, and at 100%, that's pretty impressive. I'm pretty proud of myself with that.
As you should be.
I don't chase feedback. I know some people, you know, will email people and say, you know, hey, did you receive it? How about some feedback? No. I figure let those sleeping dogs lie. If they don't want to give feedback, it's all right with me. I realize when you're first starting out, you want to accumulate the feedback as fast as you can. I don't really do that. And to have negatives removed or neutrals removed, with this new system that eBay has implemented, it doesn't matter. Because once there's a negative there, it's a defect is a defect is a defect. So even if you have it removed, that defect will not be removed.
Oh, wow. So it doesn't get taken off the record?
No.
Oh, gee, that's not good.
No.
Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit about research, and I know you'd mentioned that if you go to a business auction, for example, you've got your scanner out, so I guess I'm visualizing an app on your phone maybe or something that you're scanning these items. What research do you do to confirm the product that you're buying is going to sell on eBay?
Oh, you can use the eBay app, which is fabulous. There's also Amazon Price Check. I shouldn't mention that A word, but
we're okay with that.
Yeah, we're game for anything.
Amazon Price Check is a nice app. It has a scanner built in. You can get an idea of what the sales rank is and also what it's going for on Amazon. Now, that's not the be-all, end-all of anything, but it's just a little more information in the soup.
Yep. It's a way of finding out more information, definitely. So talking about all of that, you've just mentioned Amazon Price Check and eBay apps. Is there any other tools that you use to sort of maintain your daily business? Do you like Turbo Lister? Any software to list? Anything like that?
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Turbo Lister, but Turbo Lister is going the way of the dinosaurs. So Turbo Lister is on its way out. I did have Blackthorn before, which I love that program, and that is over as of September 1st, and Turbo Lister is on its way out. So I'm just using now the Selling Manager Pro thing, which is fine. It's really been pretty good, and now with the new save, the draft feature, it's a nice way to do it.
Any other tools like for time maintenance, anything like that?
There's a lot of good stuff out there. I definitely recommend Stamps.com for the smaller seller, and also the seller that sells on multiple platforms. Stamps.com is a great solution for that. It puts all of your shipping in one place, which is it's really a nice thing. And I would also recommend Terapeak. I use the free version, which I don't know if it's still available or not, but it's still free to me, and maybe I'm an old free person.
Never-ending trial.
Well, really. If you're uncertain about the title that you want to use, the keywords that you're going to use in a certain thing, and that happens when I go into something that I've never listed before or a category that I've never been in before, I'll go to Terapeak and I'll start putting in the words that I think might be it. And it can tell me how popular that word is for searching.
Yeah, and you can also kind of do some research on your competitors, right?
Yeah.
As well, right?
Mm-hmm. And I like Matt. He's a nice guy. He's up in Canada with Terapeak. They're very nice. WorthPoint is another good one. I did only use the trial on that, I must confess. I just haven't. I haven't.
She's live.
I know. I haven't popped for the full version yet.
Okay, they're great tools. Yeah, we've heard of Terapeak. I must admit, I actually haven't heard of WorthPoint.com or either Stamps.com. We'll stick them in the show notes page, though. That will help other people to use those tools as well. Well, that's the end of the lightning round, and actually, sadly, it's time to say goodbye. We'd like to thank our special guest, Yetta Wieland, for taking the time to come join us today and share with us your great experience, Yetta. I mean, I've picked up some great stuff. By the sounds of it, one thing I got picked up from you is that getting organized is a good thing. Clean products, you know, when you get down, keep moving forward. It's been really great chatting to you today, Yetta.
Well, it's very nice to meet you both.
Yeah, thanks, Yetta. We appreciate your time, and I'm sitting here cleaning a lamp right now as we speak that I'm going to put on my eBay store here soon. So we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule and visiting with us. If you have a question that you'd like to ask the experts, just go to our website and go to the Ask the Experts section on our website at SoYouWantToSellOnEBay.com.
We'll post all the notes from today's interview on the show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwanttosellonebay.com/show notes/Yetta. But before you go, Yetta, please tell our listeners out there, how can they get hold of you? What's the best way to contact you?
I have a website, eauctionmaven.com. Also, eauctionmaven@gmail.com. Those are two good ways to get a hold of me. I have classes. I am an education specialist, so I teach classes, although I don't have my next year's schedule settled yet because we're going into Q4 and we're busy.
That's good. Good way to be. Sounds like you like to keep busy. Well, thanks for all the information, Yetta. We wish you continued success. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
Well, that's a wrap to another awesome show. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes at SoYouWantToSellOnEBay.com/iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Your eBay Podcast and Facebook at So You Want to Sell on eBay. And we can always be found at www.soyouwanttosellonebay.com.
So you're wondering how you can grow your business, yet your website is currently being hosted by one of those website-in-a-box sites. Or maybe you don't have a website. Well, if you're really serious about growing your business, then maybe it's time to get serious about who is hosting your website. Bluehost is your answer. At Bluehost, you get complete hosting solutions for as little as $4.95 per month. And while that is inexpensive, it certainly is not cheap. You get unlimited domain hosting, unlimited space, unlimited bandwidth, and much more. Bluehost has the top-rated 24/7 support team of real experts ready to offer real solutions and advice. And if that weren't enough, at Bluehost, you will never sign a contract. Go to www.soyouwanttosellonebay.com/Bluehost today and take your business to a whole new level.